Okay, yesterday we discussed about, I'll just brief you just in 5 minutes, what is Azure DevOps, right? What is the difference between DevOps and Azure DevOps, and how easy it is when compared to DevOps to learn and implement, right? And the origin of Azure DevOps, actually it was VSTS, then it became Azure DevOps right now, right? And what are the different components within the Azure DevOps which we are using as part of this course, like Azure boards, Azure repos, Azure pipelines, Azure test plans, and Azure artifacts, right? And the life cycle of the complete Azure DevOps tools, how we are going to use it, like starting from the requirements, gathering from the customer, then how to implement or convert that into the Azure boards, then how to work with that and how to assign those tasks or work items to the respective development team or the whoever is responsible for that respective work item, then how to move the developed source code into the repos, then how to convert that or integrate the modified source code into the pipelines. Basically, it is CI/CD. Then once your pipelines are, builds are ready, then how to move those objects to the testing or UAT or development environments or deployments, basically. So once that is done, how to deploy into the production, right? This is what we discussed, the different phases of deployment, dev stage, QA stage, production stage, and how to do that. So let us start with, and we discussed about the different pricing also, right? How Azure is providing the pricing part and all. So we'll go in detail today to get into the introduction. So how to create a DevOps account or organization within this, whatever we discussed here, the components, right? I'll start with that. So first, to create a Azure account, you should create a Microsoft account first. First, create a Microsoft account, right? Either it can be any one of the Microsoft accounts, right? Like Outlook, you can use anyone, even if you don't have. But if you have Microsoft account, you can use directly, like Hotmail, or what else we have. Live.com is also another one, right? Any other account. MSN, yeah, any other account, whichever you have. So you can use that. If you have your what do you say, a Gmail account, you need say you have your Gmail account, then you need to explicitly register or sign up for the Microsoft. Okay, you need explicit sign up if you have Gmail. You can use Gmail as well. For this course, I'll use the Gmail only, just to, because most of them will have that Gmail account, right? So you can continue explicitly by registering with the Gmail account. Okay. For that, first, what you need to do, you need to log into this. I'll share this document. Just log into this azure.microsoft.com, right? Then start with your free account. Yeah, you can see here, start free. Click on that start free account. Since I have already registered, I got into my organizations and this thing. Let me do one thing. Just let me open a private window. Here you just click on start. If you don't have any account, you can sign up. Otherwise, you can log in with your logged in account, or the registered account. Okay. So enter your, if not, you just sign up for this. So you will get into this page, dev.azure.com, once you sign up and logged into the account. So here you have projects as well as the organization. First, when you are actually creating it, there will be nothing here. This empty. Just go to the new organization. Click on here. The organization is important. The first thing. So here, this is your organization details where you have to enter. See, this is my organization name. You can give anything like DevOps. What is that? Feb 23. So this current one, I'm just giving some random. And you can select the region like any other this thing, but most of the time we will be using South India. So I'll go with the South India. Then enter that. So your organization will be created. So this will create your organization. Under that, we have to create our projects. See, each organization can have multiple projects. So this is your DevOps Web3 is your organization. So right now there is no project created under this. So you can create your project. It's a demo project one. Just create your project. So once you create your project, here, this is your project, right? Under this, the components, whatever we discussed here, boards, repos, pipelines. So you can get displayed. So we go to project settings, just first thing. So overview. Here you have an option again. Let's say if you don't want to display for this specific project, there will be projects where uh, the developer will deliver something, then the QA will test it. So they may not need few of them here, like repos or the boards. Example, I'm just giving anything, pipelines or something. You can just disable, just remove from that. Then your boards will be disappeared from the left navigation menu, so that you are removing permission. Who can do that? Who am I right now? Project administrator, because I'm the one who has created, I'm the owner for this project right now. So I can do all this admin level access. See, it is linked actually. When if you don't have boards, automatically the test plans disabled here. So again, you can enable here. So automatically. So as an administrator, you have full control on this framework where you can give access to the respective people whoever you want. See, if you take an organization, there will be thousands of people, but everyone may not be working on the same project, right? So that's why you have project level settings where you can manage your access control as a project administrator, right? And one of the best recommended practice is you should always have multiple project administrators, because for some reason, if one specific project administrator is disabled or lost his access, then it will be at risk. So it is always recommended more than two administrators has to be added for this project. I'll talk about that, how to add all those things when it comes to user management, right? For now, it is straightforward. After registering your account with the Azure, Microsoft Azure, then you have to create your organization. See, this is the navigation bar where you can just switch over between. Now I want to go to my organization. This is my organization. Under this, if I have multiple projects, you can add here. Here you have an option to add new project, another project. Let's say demo project 2.
Bhaskar, one question from my side, Srinivas here.
Yes,
So
Srinivas.
we have an administrator. You are an administrator for this project. So I want to add a different role for the same project. So how to create the same?
Why do you need a different role for administrator? He is the
The
super
same
user.
project, maybe DevOps Web 23.
He is the super user at org level,
Okay.
because I'm the one who has created my organization, right? That's
Yeah,
why
that,
I'm able to create multiple projects under that organization.
yeah, that I agree with you. But see,
Okay.
you created a project, you became a admin, right? You are
Hmm.
the owner of that project. So I want to add some other name, like maybe you can add my name, like that example. So it's not a admin, maybe some other role, different
Yes, yes,
role.
yes.
So how to add that one?
Yeah, I'll talk about that. So users, there will be another option, users at organization level also.
Okay.
I'll come to that after this study.
Okay.
You can give something. Just you can add another project, so that under this org, DevOps Web 23, you will have multiple projects. Right now, it is automatically switched to the DevOps project. If you go to here, so you have 2 projects. Okay, to answer your question here, you can see, right now I am under the organization called DevOps Web 23. Under this, you have organization settings like project settings. You have settings at 2 levels. One is at organization level, another one is at project level. So if you go to organization settings, here you have here, okay, here users, I'll come there. So you can modify your org name for some reason if you want something. So this is the URL. If you modify here, let's say if I have one more 3 here, this your URL will change after saving it. Then if you want some specific private URLs, privacy, so you don't want to put it into the public kind of thing, then you can specify that uh, a private URL and distribute that as well. And time zone is very important, because when you are working with the work items, you need to enter the time frames basically, right? How many hours you are going to work on that specific work item. So based on this, it's will calculate. So there are few internal calculations where it will give the it will update the status. Okay. Since I am the organizer and owner, so I have full permissions. Okay. These are the projects under this organization and what kind of process it has. All those things we can modify these things. I'll cover this later in a flow actually. Right now, we'll just talk about overall how the UI looks and what exactly it is. So here the users will be there. So you can add a user. See, this user should have permissions, or we can add the permissions here, but he should have registered for the Microsoft Azure account. So basically, when you add user, let's say I'll give gmail.com. This is my user ID. So I can select which project, whether I want to give permission for a single project or multiple projects. Let's say I'll select only one project. Okay. Then what role he has? He's a project reader, he's a project contributor, or he's a project administrator. You can select here. I think this is what your question, right? How to add? I think Shiva, right? Yeah.
Yes, yes, Bhaskar.
So here you can add that. Let's say he's a project contributor, just add it. Because that account is not registered. So you should have your registered users here. Generally, what happens, there is something called Active Directory. I think you must be knowing what is Active Directory, right? If you are
Yes,
working for any organization, they will not maintain like individual IDs, right? Like, oh,
yes,
it's not a private ID, individual ID. Everything is linked to your Active Directories, right? So once you link your DevOps with here, you can see here Azure Active Directory. If you link here your Active Directory, then automatically the list of users whoever is part of that organization will get displayed here. Here, when you add users, those user IDs will be added here. But this is how you can add, right? Clear? Is that clear?
Yes, Bhaskar.
Okay. So we can add users like that. I should be able to add. Um, this user is added. Right now, I can add to anything for this because has not logged in, not even a single time. So basically, once you add this, right? So this specific user will be notified with the invitation link to join for this specific project or organization. Okay. So this, in case if he is not part of any, let's say the third party or the user who is not for your learning purpose also, you may not be working as an organization level, right? So there we can add this, go to this, log into this specific mail ID, then just join using that link. Okay, earlier why it was not added? Let me just 1 second.
Bhaskar, earlier, you missed out at the rate actually. At the rate instead of some
Oh,
letter
okay.
has been
Mail
typed.
ID was
Yeah,
wrong,
yeah,
is it? Okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay,
That's missed it.
okay.
Bhaskar, one question.
Yes.
Gopal here. Can we create organization under organization, like a hierarchy of organization we can create?
Uh, Sorry, your voice is breaking. Feeble.
I'm asking, like, can we create organization under organization? Can we create hierarchy of organization?
No, you can have multiple organizations, but not under organization. So what is the use? Can you tell me the use case?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, if we keep a company name as organization name, and under that we have different business units. For that, I have to rename, like, I have to create some different folders, or and under
Huh.
business units we have different projects. So I want to add one more level in between.
In that case, you create org at the BU level.
Sorry.
You can create organization at the BU level, so that a specific BU will have multiple projects. So under that, you can create multiple projects.
So organization name itself will be BU name.
No, the hierarchy is like org projects.
Okay. So in between, nothing can be added. You mean to say?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want, let me just join that group. I will just join. So when you get an invitation, basically you need to register with that specific ID if not done already. Only the registered users can view your project. If the example, this user has not registered in the Microsoft account, so I need to create my account first, or explicitly, that's what I was talking. If you are using a Gmail account, you need to explicitly sign up with this ID to, or you need to link this specific mail ID to your Azure account or the Microsoft account. Okay.
So is it same thing applicable for company's domain as well? So you have a company's email ID and you don't have the Azure. So I'm talking about the prospect of organization. So
Yes,
there,
yes. Company domain accounts also you can add. Company domain accounts is org level. That's what I said. The Active Directory, if you are part of, if you link, in that case, you need to link your Active Directory. But
So
ultimately, you need to add either
company's Active Directory should be linked with the Azure Active Directory. Something like that.
So your Active Directory has to be linked. You can connect basically here. Connect your directory, that list of users, to this.
Okay, got it. Okay, this is free version, that's why this is disabled, is it?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So there is something called Azure Pass. So if you link with that, we can connect. I'll cover it. Azure Pass. Basically, what happens? There is something called Azure AD tenants, right? Basically, Azure AD accounts. So every organization should have a Azure AD tenant. So once your organization is, I mean, it linked to Azure AD tenant, then automatically these things will be enabled.
Right. All right.
There's again Azure subscription is something called. You can show that as well. Right. So I'll come to the organization settings. These are the high level organization, but mostly you should, if you practice all these whatever the options you have here, so that itself is more than enough to work with this framework. So here the important thing is like process under the organization settings. Yesterday we were talking about different process, right? So one is the basic Agile, Scrum, and CMMY. So these are the 4 types as of now available. I mean, inbuilt processes. So what exactly it means? Based on your project capacity, so you can choose the process basically. So whether your project will fall under a basic one, which is like just not major things, minor, a straightforward project, or if a project is, I mean, capacity is more, or many people are working, many modules are there, then if you want to follow the agile method, then you select agile method. If you are following the Scrum or the existing projects, say, so you can just choose Scrum. So respective process you can select while creating it itself, the project, right? So click here, you can attach or anything. So I'll cover with one project. So if you take each process, so what are the different types of work items you will get? Let's say in Agile, these are the different types of work items which are inbuilt, like your epic, feature, issues, task, bug, test case. So the these are the work items which are part of your Agile process. Let's say if you take basic, you will not have many which are part of Agile. So straightforward, simple projects, you can go with the basic one, because your dashboard or framework should not look like a complicated one for the simple projects. So that's why they have different options processes basically. So you can select based on that. Scrum. So again, you have multiple things. Right. Is it clear how to navigate, how to register, and how to do the settings? We'll talk about each setting when maybe in the coming sessions. We will start with one sample project kind of thing, how actually the organizations will create the Kanban board. A Kanban board is very important here. So that is the one where people will actually access. So I'll cover that as part of Azure boards, Kanban board. Okay, let's go back to. So let's say select any project here. To go to the project settings. See, this by default, my process is selected as basic here. So I can change this. So as part of basic thing, I'll get like this. These are the, this is the basic project. So you can, once you add your work items, then automatically the backlog items will be displayed in the dashboard, and any projects under that are. So let me add few. So I have added this user. So basically, once you add, once you link your active directory, right? So here under the users, if you click on add users, the list of users will be displayed here. The active directory, you can select multiple. You'll have similar way like checkboxes. So you can, if you want to add permissions for multiple users, you can select and assign the respective project for them. Right now, let's go to the here. Why my project one has basic process by default? We have selected this as a basic. In case if your organization is following agile method, or it's mandatory that you have to follow agile, make this as a default one. Set agile is default one. So now when you create a next project, that project will get created with agile process. It will create one let us get into the boards and try to add some epics. Under that, this is my project one. See, so you have to log into this page, then click on that. This document will is a self-explanatory. We'll share this document. You can try creating your accounts. So if you have already registered with this, log in with that. If not, then do that. Then create a project just to start. Right. You can link actually your repositories by default. Whether assume that your project is already with the Git repository. That specific project, if you want to add it to the or link it to the Azure DevOps, then you can use that option also. I'll show that as well. And so we saw already how to create a user and add that. Right. There is, I was talking about Azure Pass, right? So that will help you actually. Maybe I will try to share one URL where is going to continue, so that will help you for your practices. So that will be active for some time, so that you can use that Azure Pass or coupon kind of thing. I'll check on that whether still that is available. Right. So this is what I was talking about.
Bhaskar,
Azure account or Azure Pass.
Bhaskar, one question here, like while creating a user, like why we need to choose Outlook ID instead of Gmail?
Nothing. That's what I was
anything
talking
is
about
okay,
here.
right? Anything
And
is
that's
okay.
what any other I mentioned, right? Any other.
Okay.
It's not mandatory.
Okay.
If you are creating the Microsoft account, so you don't need to explicitly specify that. So you directly that will be linked. That's all. It's not mandatory. You can use any account.
Okay.
Okay.
And one more question, like maybe yesterday I have tried, and this time maybe this DevOps account is okay, but we have one more URL, right? Portal.azure.com something.
Right.
So what is the main uses of that? Like how it works for us, to while learning with DevOps? So is it a required subscription for that URL as well with the same Azure ID, or how it is? Maybe while creating them, it will ask credit card or not at all.
That's what I was talking about Azure Pass. The subscriptions, whatever you are talking, right? The subscriptions are required. Just now, if you see here, when we are trying the just that, so we are trying. So if you see here, this was not enabled for us, org level, Active Directory, right? If you subscribe and add that, then automatically this will be enabled. And this user account and the other user account should be same, so that both will be linked, connected.
Okay. But my question is why portal.azure.com? What it indicates to us actually?
This is a tool where you will play with project related. That is more kind of for the administration at the MS level, right?
Okay. This whatever the current window talks about dev.azure.com. This is
It's
a
completely a
DevOps,
development tool.
a
It's a
development
tool.
tool for
Yeah.
Azure DevOps. But I am
This
asking
is
it
a
different.
subset of the other one which you are talking.
Yeah, right.
So that's why both should be linked. You should use the same account. Then only the activations or subscriptions, whatever we have done in other URL, will be linked here. Will get enabled automatically.
Okay, the portal.azure.com, using that portal.azure.com also, can we work on few Azure services or
No Azure services. There it's kind of the like how we have here the user access controls. There your subscriptions, your Azure Pass, all those things will be managed there actually. That is mainly maintained by the Microsoft level, right?
Okay.
So it's kind of the gateway that don't get confused. There's nothing to get confused here. There you will actually subscription, all those things will be done in that URL. So those things will be linked here if you are using the same account. This is completely a development environment where you have to do all this, adding your project details, adding your work items, adding your epics, all those things, basically work items.
Okay, in the development point of view for DevOps, like maybe Azure DevOps, so there is no need to go to that the main portal.azure.com URL, and there is no need to play
For
any
subscription,
active.
you have to go there. You cannot subscribe from here.
Okay.
This is a tool that's all. First you need to subscribe there, then you come and work here. So that will give a better flow for you.
Okay. Apart from that, there is much uses in the DevOps level.
Nothing much over there. There it is just kind of management.
Okay.
The actual work is only in this dev.azure.com.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay. So you can follow this document. We'll share this with you guys. You can add all these things. Right? Any doubts in this process, so that I can start how to go. What is that? Work with Azure boards, how to add things. Before getting into that, if you have any doubt, please let me know so that I can explain.
As of now, I don't have from my end.
Okay. So what are we going to cover in Azure boards? How to work with our items, and what are the different items? You can say epic, future, user story, task, bug, test case. These are the different items which will be added to your Kanban board, and linking those items. Like let's say any project will have certain requirements, right? Assume that it is an epic. If it is a big requirement, under that you will have multiple features, right? Let's say example, you take any streaming app, let's say Netflix or Amazon. Within that you have what you'll have, new releases, you have the whatever the list of movies or shows which you are watching, or the upcoming future releases, or the language level like Hindi, Telugu, Kannada, English, or whatever it is, right? So you have different, right? So within that, so how to create or narrate a story based on your requirements, based on your project architecture. So yesterday somebody was asking, right, how to add. Definitely there are n number of brainstorming sessions are required before getting into this specific page, because you need to conclude the requirements, then start converting those requirements into a Kanban board, right? So we'll talk about how to link all those features or stories to a requirement, then how to collaborate with the members, then how to follow up. Generally, your sprints will happen, right? Uh, how it works in real time is like there will be a Scrum Masters. Example, if you're following the Scrums, so the Scrum Master will monitor every day the progress of your items. See, the basically the requirements will be divided into sprints. Let's say the sprint time frame is 3 to 4 weeks, or max 1 month, 1.5 months. So within that sprint, so what is the progress we are making? So every day those things will be tracked, right? So the dashboard will help in that tracking, and how to move from one state to another state, right? So all those things will be covered as part of this Azure DevOps, boards. So your Kanban board will look. Azure board is a tool in Azure DevOps to help teams plan the work that needs to be done. This is what I was talking about, right? You should come up with your proper requirements, then convert those into a work items, then assign those work items to the respective team members, whoever is working on that. Then tracking is easy. So this is very important. If you mismatch the work items, and by placing into different things, right, you have different options here, right? Like it is a epic, it is a feature, user story, task, bug, test case. These are the hierarchy actually which is important to follow. Otherwise what happens, your story or the epic, let's say if you don't link it properly, see, tracking will be a headache over a period of time. See, initially, maybe if only the few developers are working, 1 or 2 developers, then it may be easy. But in real-time scenarios, that will not be the case, right? So there will be n number of people working for n number of features or bugs, right? So that way, the linking will help you a lot to track if you follow this process, right? That's where it will help, right? Ultimately, the boards are really helpful for a better project planning and management, right? That will help you a lot. Once you get into the real, maybe tomorrow's next session, uh, you can understand better. For now, just try to understand that process is very important here. Okay. So these are the, again, we'll talk about that, how to tracking, basically, right? Your Scrum Master, every day he will be tracking, right? I think you must be working with scrums, I think, right? I'm not sure. So every day they'll check for the status. And if anyone have worked with a tool called Zira, anyone have you heard about Zira?
Yes, I have.
Yes, Bhaskar.
So it is exactly a replica of Zira. So what the Kanban board is. So how you will add your work items in the Zira. So exactly same thing will be done here. So it is called Azure boards here. So you can move, you can drag and drop all those things. Everything remains same that way, right? So again, this we are showing, right, what are the different process we have. The basic process. This template is flexible for any process and great for team getting started with the Azure DevOps. You can just start with the basic process, so that you will get an idea of what exactly the Azure boards will help you, or the entire process will help you. Then slowly you can correlate with your existing. I think most of you are already working for one of the other projects, so that you can link that to your existing projects. If you are following the Agile, if you are following the Scrum, or whichever the process you are following, so that way you can learn in a better way. But start with basic thing so that you will not get confused with many things. Just to explain how exactly the basic process will help you. Assume that you have an epic in your portfolio backlog. Then that epic will have issues. The issues will be reported and those things will be converted to a task, right? So what happens, just to simplify, before getting into the UAT level and all, so assume that the developer develops a fix or he will deliver this, whatever the requirement, this will be tested. Then if it is working fine, then move it to the completed stage. If not, just put it again, some issues, whatever you find internally. Then see, before giving it to the or deploying to the final, I mean, once the product comes to the final, at least some shape, so you need to do a lot of iterations. That's when for those kind of things, you can use the basic process. See, right? So you can add a backlog. So that will become a to-do list. Then once you start working it, that you need to just drag and drop. I'll show you that how to drag and drop things in a Kanban board. So that will be moved to the doing state. Once you are done, then that will be moved to a complete state. In case after you complete this specific task, then if you find that this is not working, then after you still have a flexibility of reactivate it. Again, move it back to the previous state where it was doing. Still, if something is not feasible or not working as expected, or you are postponing for some reason for not to fix at this sprint, then move it back to the to-do thing so that it will be carried forward to the next sprint with some specific reason. So this is how the process will work. Okay. So this document I'll share you, this actually will help you a lot. This document is like self-explanatory. What is delivery we are delivering with this part of course. If you see this document, you can see here step by step is given in this, and with the navigation, go to the organization settings, go to the boards, then process. You can see all these things. I'll show you one so that if we share this document, is that DevOps web is organization. Go to organization settings. Just I'm showing one sample. Then go to the boards, then process. These are boards, then process. Here you will see different processes which we have already shown. View all process, built-in fields, list work items, right? I'll talk about that in tomorrow's session. I mean, next session. How to add, we'll take one real-time scenario. I have that also here, one real-time scenario. This is how it will look like. So sample work items also has given here, like one story basically, like if you take any web e-portal, so there will be epic, shopping cart is an epic, right? Loyalty membership is an epic. Just to understand better, you can learn better with the example, right? So that this will help you. This, I have taken from some Google, so I have not entered here, but this will give you a clarity or a better understanding on the flow. This is important here because that's what I was talking about some time back also. The process is very, very important here. That will help you for the Scrum Masters or the entire team to track things easily. Right? This story we will I will explain in next session with a real scenario kind of thing, how actually it will work. This will be the real scenario in the specific portal. So any doubts in this? So next session I will take this one example project and we'll try to convert or create this Kanban board and how to move, how the things will work really in real time. For today's session, I'll share this document, how to register and how to use EPOS, all those things. So you can create your account so that it will be easy for me to explain to next session with this real-time scenario. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Any doubts in this today's session? Okay, if you don't have any doubts, then we'll start with the real-time scenario on next session. Probably others can drop off, and whoever is joined today, you can stay back for another 5-10 minutes. I'll explain you a few more things. I mean, I am going to repeat whatever I explained yesterday, so others can drop off.
All right. Thanks, Bhaskar.
Yeah, thank you.